All right, these days it is a good thing you don't fill your car up with milk. The average price of milk is now $3.91 a gallon. Regular gasoline, meanwhile, is averaging $3.07 a gallon. Staple items at the grocery store are rising and fast. Today we look at the cost of some of these commodities and how much consumers are willing to shell out at the gas pump or in the grocery aisle. We're talking with Kerr, he's a senior commodities analyst, and Sarah Nunnally, she's material profits senior analyst and editor. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let me start with you, Sarah. What about the staggering spike in prices from those staples like milk and gasoline? Why are they rising so much?
Well, I think it's kind of connected to the rise in gasoline prices. It's costing more to produce these things, or costing more to produce grain, which affects cattle prices, which affects milk prices, and it's just kind of like a domino effect.
You know, Kevin, we have been watching the price of oil come in. We hit that close to that high of 100, that one trade that occurred at $100 a barrel. But we're now trailing down to about $90 a barrel. Will we see some of these prices ease because of the decline in oil prices?
Well, it's not that fast, Alexis, but you know, I think the bottom line is Sarah's made a good point that we are connected. Energy and farming are very interconnected. We've seen prices ratchet up because the prices of crude and gasoline and the products we use to transport all these materials to the store, to harvest them, all these prices have ratcheted up so high, it's certainly put a premium on the food. It's not going to come out anytime soon. There are other factors at work here too, the biggest one being ethanol production from corn. That has really driven dairy prices much, much higher.
And explain for people who don't understand, because everybody has been talking about wheat prices, corn prices, ethanol prices. Why are they so expensive, and how are they impacting the consumer at the grocery store?
Well, bottom line, the corn has driven almost 40, 50, 60% higher over the last couple of years because of the ethanol demand. You know, corn is a staple commodity. It's in everything from shoe polish to sweeteners and soda drinks. So the bottom line is it's in everything we eat. There's really no substitute for corn. And therefore, when prices go up, there's really nothing to switch to. We see in a market like copper, for example, when those prices get too high, builders will switch to something else. We can't do that in the grain markets. And as those prices go up, there's just nowhere else to go.
You know, Sarah, one of the things that people are talking about is that prices may come in somewhat because the U.S. may be going into a recession. But there are other people on the other side of the table who say, hold on one second. This is about a global demand story, particularly as it relates to oil. China still has the demand. Yet on the other hand, China is talking about weaker economic growth, 11% down to 8%. Might all these prices come in if globally things slow down?
It's possible, but going from 11% to 8% is not necessarily going to hurt their demand for oil. I think you're looking at not only China, you're talking about India, you're talking about other Asian countries, you're talking about the Middle East increasing its own demand as well. And those factors collectively would mitigate the smaller drop in China's GDP growth. But I think you have to take a look at those occurrences in grain as well. China's becoming a much more consuming country in grains as well. Their diet is becoming a lot more sophisticated. So I think those prices are also going to be affected more by global situations.
You should be hedging your portfolio and hedging your dinner, basically. The bottom line is these prices are going up. Sarah's pointed out China is a big driver. In fact, they've put new inflation controls in place today requiring banks to keep 15% of their deposits in reserve. They're very frightened by inflation. They have exponential growth there, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon.
All right, well, Kevin and Sarah, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you both so much for joining us. It's an important topic.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thanks.
All right, guys, I just want to put it in context for you. On average, Hawaii has the highest gasoline price in the United States, $3.50 a gallon. Wyoming at $2.72 has the lowest.